Jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
I understand. I understand. I understand.
Jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
I understand.
Jet fuel can't melt steel beams.
Hello.
Doing good.
Hello, yeah, I'm doing good.
Doing good,
Doing
bro.
well, thank you. Did you see? Did you see that they were called to the tunnel later after the sunset? There was another incident where dozens of cops, UK police, whatever. Yeah, they were called to a tunnel area and they swarmed it and locked it down. And they weren't saying much afterwards. They were saying maybe they were looking for someone, but and then we have the confusion, obviously, of them saying that Abu, whoever, was the dude that did it for like hours, when the dude's apparently still sitting in jail. So they haven't named a suspect, right? At this point. Well, I'm bringing it up because a lot of the people that I see, a lot of different outlets are saying that Channel 4 originally reported that
We did.
and that it was false and that they recanted their statement, took it back, and the lawyer of the guy that's in jail gave a confirmation that he was in jail, and that's where it's at. We never got another name of who is this guy that looks similar to him, laying there with his shirt up, and they were working on him, whatever. You know, who is he? They got to know who the guy is at this point. It's just I'm not sure if they've released it. And they apparently jumped the gun earlier. Now, it would be crazy if they came back out and said, oh, it is him. He was let loose on. Because isn't that what we were talking about earlier? Like, why was this guy released? Remember, Eric?
Yeah.
It was all the talk. It was, why was he released? And I wanted to know, why was he released? How long has he been free? Where did he just come from? Where did he spend his last couple of days at? All this other good stuff. But now we're coming to find out they're saying that it wasn't him. So it's
Just fast. DLT network in
haven't
America.
seen another name thus far in connection to it.
I mean, from the images that I've seen, they look like two different people. They have the same.
Are they
like,
scrambling
facial
for a
structure.
patsy now or something? I mean,
Yeah, that's what it comes off as.
Would a real Trevor Brooks please stand up?
Dude, what are the odds, man? I'm looking here at the trending hashtags, and one of the top ones is shots fired. And I'm sitting there thinking, okay, what do we got going on here? I guess there's a pilot for a movie called Shots Fired that aired today. All these people are talking about it.
I don't heard of it.
It's called a hit. They're saying shots fired, a hit. What looks like a reverse Ferguson situation quickly gets complicated. Our shots fired premiere. So it's like a premiere they just dropped. I mean, what timing? Drop something like that. Shots fired. Day like this.
Yeah, it is #2 trending worldwide.
Mm-hmm. I thought it was going to be something crazy, huh? We went through this last time, remember? Hold on, I'll let you know if I hear you.
What the freak?
I didn't hear you. Hear me and Eric. I didn't hear you. Yeah, I was just listening again. I mean, you can see your thing. You can see your thing lighting up on the screen and everything like you're talking. Yeah, I was just listening again. Sorry about that. I had to have the sound up to see if he's coming through. Not sure what you had to do last time. I think you jumped in. You were in there 2 different ways, kind of like Erick.
I wonder if that's better. That's probably better. I can probably hear me now. Yeah, I see you, B. It's I'm not actually using XSplit. I'm going straight from OBS. I think it's one of my mixers was down. You guys can probably hear me now.
Yeah. Coming through.
Yeah. All right.
What the heck? I'm looking at this Shots Fired show. Well, I'm not watching the show, but apparently the show starts off with a white police officer shooting a black male, and then all the police come and everybody has their phones out recording.
This is a movie or a show?
This is a show.
Well,
all right. Yeah, go ahead.
The bridge there, the Westminster Bridge, we were talking about this earlier. There were some interesting movies that were filmed with the Westminster Bridge involved. It would be 28 Days Later, which it was a guy who woke up out of a coma and found London deserted. There was also 102 Dalmatians, which was a 2000 film. And then I thought was pretty interesting was Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix, where the Phoenix flies under the bridge. And then also to the river that it crosses is the Timus River. And it's also known, sometimes called the Isis River, ISIS. Gets pretty deep into things, but that was just simple, Wikipedia searches that you could find this information out on.
Did you see that the London Eye was trending earlier today too?
I seen that, bro. It's what? You cannot make this stuff up, bro.
I know. For real. It's getting crazy. I'm just glad nothing escalated here, in NYC after all that chatter, bringing in heavy weapons and all that other crap.
Yeah, were they putting that on the roof day? Was that what they were doing?
I thought that they were bringing in SWAT units to Grand Central and City Hall and other undisclosed locations. And, seeming we don't have any boots on the ground in NYC, it's kind of hard to get a confirmation on things. I'd like to got some visuals or set of eyes on SWAT outside of one of these places. Picture something.
Yeah.
See what they're doing. But as of right now, we don't know.
Yeah, there's been a lot of interesting things that have popped up today. It's 322. It started popping out, just recently that there's a shot. I'm trying to find the picture now, but it was Big Ben was at 322 when this happened. I mean, it's a lot of coincidences here. A lot of coincidences. The date, the significance of the date. Skull and Bones, all of it.
I mean, they probably don't have just a switch to turn that off exactly at 322. That had to be planned, and I think it probably takes some kind of a process to shut that clock down if it indeed stopped at 322. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why? If it's stopping at 322 would just be crazy ape shit to me. But just the fact that they had the chopper up there or whatever, and they took the shot from that angle and they showed it, right there at that time with the clock in the frame. That's interesting as well.
Yeah, I'm about.
They definitely wanted to.
I'll have that up here.
Oh, that was done completely purposely.
Yeah.
That shot.
Did the clock stop then, or am I just? Did I just hear that incorrectly? Did it stop at 322? Or was that picture just taken at that time?
I think it was taken at that time. I'm not sure that it stopped that time. If it was stopped at 322, we've got like a whole different freaking story on our hands. As to, like you said, how, why, who did it, what for, why that time, all those good questions. But I think it was just kind of like the angle and the shot, the way that it was put out there.
Okay. All right.
So I don't know if you guys can see this or not. I'm going to screen share here for just a second. So there it is. I don't know if you guys can see it, but the clock is sitting right at 322. I don't think that we can say that it happened at 322 because all of the news had already happened by the time this chopper was flying by. But regardless of that, it's interesting that's the time that this chopper was flying by, and it also is important to note that this is a screenshot out of a video. So it's just another coincidence. Lots of coincidences in these situations.
And I don't believe in coincidences.
That's right. That's right.
Yeah, it's hard for me to believe in coincidence.
It's too much when you look at everything today. 1 year to the Brussels thing that was 100% staged and backed by Mossad. Then you have that it was hours before the Scottish referendum, the Indy Ref 2, where they were going to vote like Brexit to leave. Now that's all been suspended.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's crazy.
It's all about the timing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Man, so another day full of this type of bad news. It's I don't know about you guys, but I'm waking up every day now pretty much just saying what's going to happen today at this point.
I was up at 5 o'clock this morning thinking that, it's 3:22. It's going to be a long one.
You woke up at 5 a.m.?
Mm-hmm.
5 a.m., I was still up on my computer.
Yep.
Yeah, that was shortly after Eric told me the same thing. He said, looked at the clock after midnight. He said it's 3:22, and he said, what's going to happen today? Something's going to happen today. So.
Right. Some of these things are signature, and they hide the signature, like the time right there, right in the event, in that shot.
Right.
It's just kind of like for those that have the eyes to see, the more that you're aware of it, and you can pick up on these little things, you start to see that They're like earmarkings to these events, letting you know that, yeah, it's that same hand that always does it to pull this off.
Right.
Yeah, it's like they throw it up in your face.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So I'd like for someone to try to help me out here and let me know what the significance is with the 322. Good.
Well, that's specifically tied into Skull and Bones. You just do the research into Skull and Bones, the secret society, the Bush, and a lot of them were a part of, and you'll go down that rabbit hole, and it's all based on that their secret society of Skull and Bones, because they have 322 etched in their emblem. It's a set of skull and bones, and they have 322 underneath of it. So it's marked right there, and so happens crazy crap like this seems to happen on their dates like this.
Right on. Will do.
Yeah, and that ties in, to
the Brussels attack last year.
Just a lot of. Yeah, and that event was so staged and such a fraud with Netanyahu showing up and all this other crap. It's Brussels. All right, that's the one where they had the shotgun to the dude's head on the ground and pulled the trigger and nothing happened. No blood. His head didn't get blown off. Nothing. And I caught a strike on that video. Matter of fact, for graphic content, and there was none. The whole reason I showed is because there was none, but it was enough for someone to flag it and say that there was and bring it down. But the real reason they wanted it to come down is because it showed exactly what I was saying. Did nothing happen. Dude had a shotgun shoved up in his face, dude. He pulled the trigger and his head was still there. He's just fine. Ridiculous. I mean, that's when you know things are false flags. Stuff like that happens.
So I'd like to read everybody two quick definitions here. Let's start with the Wikipedia version of the explanation of
and that was out quick today.
Yeah. Where is? All right, hold on. It showed it to me in the preview, but now it's opened the whole page, and I gotta find it in the page.
Man, I did like 3 videos earlier. I ain't even uploaded because this stuff popped off.
Yeah, man, we just got right in it, didn't we? It was all day.
As soon as it went, I think Reptoid Hunter sent me the first message. He's like, "Parliament just got hit. It's on," and he's over there, and I was like, "Oh hell no!" Here we go. It's gonna be a long one. Here we are, hours later, and still don't have a confirmation on the name of a suspect, which is ridiculous.
All right, so here's Wikipedia's explanation of Skull and Bones and the meaning of 322. Okay, Wikipedia is it's an undergraduate senior secret society at Yale University in New Haven. One legend is that the numbers in the society's emblem 322 represent founded in 32 Second Corps, referring to a First Corps and an unknown German battalion. All right. Now I
got breaking news, man.
Go ahead.
Right here in the United States, a police officer's just been killed and 3 other people in a shooting in Wisconsin. 3 people and a cop have all just been shot and killed. Now they're saying the suspect is in custody already.
Oh, man.
Wow.
I knew the day wasn't over yet.
It's not over. So this is just breaking. 3 people. We don't know. I don't have any other information. I just retweeted it. This is K2 News.
I've got an update on that.
Okay.
That actually happened 4 hours ago, but the suspect just now was captured.
Okay, but it did happen this evening. That was something I missed, and I'm sure many other people probably missed because of all
I missed it.
So at least people are becoming aware of it now. We did have a shooting here. It's kind of overshadowed by the London events.
Wow! Listen to this. The shooting was at a bank, right? And guess which town the police chief did his update from? Rothschild, Wisconsin. So it was a shooting at a bank in Rothschild, Wisconsin on 322.
Oh my gosh!
That's crazy.
They're sitting there just laughing their asses off at us right now, like these guys are the only ones getting it. And
I said it. It's like they just shove it in your face, like they just laugh in your face, like ha ha. You see it, but we tricked the rest of the world. Ha ha.
Yeah, what are you going to do about it?
Yeah.
We're going to censor your YouTube channel, so F you.
Yeah.
John, you okay, buddy? I see you writing some stuff in the chat, man. If you'd like us to clear up a few things real quick, we can do that. Dabu, apparently, some people in your in that have popped in and left comments on your channel have been saying stuff about veterans, and let's see that.
John Smith? That's
Yeah.
funny. I've got a long list of emails from veterans. I've actually got one that's from the heart earlier that fully loved and appreciated everything I said earlier.
Yeah.
And you have a lot of people that feel the same way, that veterans are waking up. Actually, we have a vet right here on the panel that served, and just like I said in that video, awakened to what was going on.
Yeah, I'm
here
a veteran.
in this world. Chico, you want to go ahead and talk since you
Yeah, I'm a veteran. I was a 13 Bravo cannon crew member in the U.S. Army, and I woke up after being discharged from the Army. I came home and I just listened to people around me, heard some stuff, and I looked into it myself. Chose to look into it myself, and I wasn't happy with the stuff I was seeing. It was just a lot of dirty secrets, pretty much. Like they just were sending us in there to fight other wars for other people to gain money. And
you're finding this all out while you're enlisted, right?
Yeah, as I'm getting out.
So you're coming to this awakening, while you're still in service, and it's like,
yeah,
Chico,
yeah. It's just.
Can I ask you a question about your peers? Were your peers what led to you waking up? Like your peers in the military, or like did you try to, express it and then get backlash? Like, what was your social experience with waking up?
Well, okay. It was two ways. It was like, some people that I spoke to about it, they just didn't, they didn't want to hear anything about it. They, it's bullshit. And other people I talked to about it, like a couple of my friends, I'm not gonna say anybody's names because some of them are still serving.
Respect.
They totally understand. They completely they know before I knew, pretty much. And
that's what I titled my video, that troops are awakening to the deception.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
And I don't see what's wrong with that, John Smith. That's butt hurt. Listen, I don't know. Look, I know you live through things, and I know there's a lot of people. I personally don't know because I didn't sign up for the military. But just like Chico sitting there saying, he's an individual that was in the military and awakened to this, and it's a sick feeling, I would say, right?
Yeah.
To know that it's all a lie and deception.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. 100%.
No doubt about it. And
Chico, did you have anybody that was over there serving with you that because of things that happened over there? Now, I know when a lot of guys come back, they're uncomfortable stateside, but I had a particular incident with a friend who, leaving for his third tour, point blank told us and his family, I'm not coming back. I'm not coming back. It wasn't because he thought he was going to die. He wanted to. He was over it.
Well,
I can't say I know a lot of soldiers like that, but I can say that some soldiers do go through some very traumatic things, and they see some things that nobody wants to see.
Yeah, this guy got
and
the situation. I can speak about it because I'm not gonna say his name, but it basically what happened was it could have boiled down to two things: one, intention, or two, a mistake. I'm not gonna speculate either way or sway it either way, in my opinion. But this is what happened. They basically issued an evacuation ordinance on a neighborhood, told everybody the next morning they had to leave. If they didn't leave, they were considered an occupying force, or however it was that they worded it. And basically when they came in from one side of the village on foot and basically herded everybody in one direction out of the town, which there really wasn't anything on the outside of the town. But in that direction was a line of Humvees, and that line of Humvees, he was a gunner of a 50 cal, and he was told to shoot anything that moved. Everybody was. And so when all these people came running out, they were all under the impression that these are insurgents because they were told anybody that runs this way. Meanwhile, on the other side of the field, everybody that's on the ground, not in Humvees, is actually sending the non-enemy combatants at the gunfire. So after he mauled over did his thing, he wasn't happy with himself, and because of that, when he came back and got that off of his shoulders, he said he was going back because he felt like he couldn't live here because he needed to be over there protecting his friends, but at the same time, he knew that he couldn't reacclimate to who he used to be. He lost himself. So that's kind of what I was getting at is, do you see a lot of those guys that just seem like they've kind of lost themselves?
Hey,
I can't say that I do see a lot of
That's
that,
good.
but
That's good. That's good. That's good news.
I got
Yeah.
some.
I like good news.
I got some breaking news.
Go ahead.
I don't know.
Sure.
I don't know how to put this because this is pretty breaking.
Does it have to do with the giraffe?
Breaking news: Erick M is not a mod on Mike's channel.
Oh,
I think that's what it says.
And John, I'm sorry if I took it the wrong way, John. I'm sorry, but you said something, and it's all good. I ain't mad at you.
And guys, I really can't stay long. I wanted to jump in and say much love and say hi to everybody. I for some reason am having difficulty with my phone. I think it has to do with storage. I cannot watch any live streams that are on YouTube right now through my phone for some reason. So I'll be able to get back in the chat here in a couple of days. I may have to get a different phone. May have to delete some stuff. I'm not sure what the problem is. But anyways, I didn't get to catch up on the topics because I was working, so I'm going to leave this to you guys and just say much love, good work. I'm going to go to iCitizen and do my sharing and then go back to bidding jobs. So you guys have a good night. And much
You too,
love,
brother.
Tico. As always, thank you for your service.
yeah, good night, McBride. Thanks, man.
All right, guys.
Have a good
Take
night,
care.
McBride.
Well,
Thanks for jumping
if
in.
you guys are having a hangout or something later, drop me a link. I'll be able to jump in then.
Oh yeah.
Peace.
Peace, bro.
Yeah, I just want
Did
to
we
kind of.
lose one and then gain another?
Did we gain one? Who did we gain?
Watchers jumped in here.
Oh, there you are. What's up, Watch?
Whoop, whoop. What's going on, guys?
Nothing. Hey, listen. Before we move on to another topic, I just want to, I just want to finish off the situation with the veteran situation. John, I just, there's not a person on this panel or anybody that follows us or that is involved in the military or anywhere around us that doesn't appreciate veterans. I know you've personally seen a lot of people say and do a lot of things for veterans. In this group. So I just want to end it with that, man. Any ill feelings that came from anybody in any chat rooms or anything is not imposed by anybody.
And you
on
ain't
this
gonna
panel.
please everybody. And I'm gonna tell you right now, I
true.
ain't here to please everybody, and I ain't bending over and I ain't answering everybody's question, kissing asses and all this other stuff. I say what I say. You either like it or you don't.
That's it.
It's just that simple. Okay.
Amen.
That's it. So, all right. Well, you guys, let's get back to what happened today. Watchers, did you hear what the most recent is here in the U.S.? There was a cop and 3 people shot out in Wisconsin, and
I briefly saw a message about it, or a tweet that got posted about it a little bit ago.
That's about all we saw.
yeah, well, so it happened. It happened at a bank, and I'm not sure exactly the town that it happened in. I'm gonna look that up, but I do know that
You're talking about Rothschild.
Yeah, the police chief did his press brief on in a town called Rothschild, Wisconsin. So happened at a bank. Place is called Rothschild. There's cop and 3 people dead, 4 people dead. Very strange, man. Very strange.
That's crazy, especially since a Rockefeller just died, and that's like the other side compared to the Rothschilds. It's like one of the big families. Actually, what was that? Rothschild?
Wisconsin, yep. I'm going to drop a link in the chat here real quick for the article. It doesn't really have too much. So, Rothschild, Wisconsin, police chief. Shooting at Northern Wisconsin bank came as officers responded to a domestic situation. And that is literally all it says.
That's not much for happening 4 hours ago.
No.
Yeah, just love the vague information. We don't have a suspect's name yet. They tell us we're bringing in heavy weapons in NYC. Very vague about everything.
Marathon County. 2 critically hurt in the Wisconsin shooting.
I wonder how long they're going to postpone that referendum.
Wonder what was the referendum.
Well, it was for the Scottish. They were going to vote to leave. A second time, like a Brexit, like for them to leave.
Yeah. And that's a good point, too. I mean, if there was any time you would have expected something like this to happen, it would have been during a major decision like that. Get it to be postponed.
Well, it was just like with the Orlando nightclub shooting. It took place also the airport event, all these stuff. It happened right before they were going to vote on, I believe, allowing guns on campuses and in airport terminals and everything else. And you had all those events pop off. It was specifically the airport one is the one that was right before when they were going to vote on that. So we lost Eric.
Did we? He drop out? That's no good. Dobby, why don't you tell us a little bit about what you saw going on in New York today, if you don't mind?
What I saw going on?
Yeah, the information that you came across when...
Well, like I said, it was really vague. Eric's back with us. They just said that there was a couple reports coming out that they were bringing heavy weapons into NYC. And then I found a video clip of them saying it as well. And then even more information saying that they were tightening the security. And then they added that they were bringing the heavy weapons to City Hall, Grand Central, and other British-linked locations within NYC. They did not name those places. But, yeah, it'd be nice to have a set of eyes and ears on the ground at NYC to give us a confirmation some of these places. If they're seeing SWAT units out there, something like that. And I just don't know at this point.
I was actually talking to a guy today that lived up in New York post 9/11 that had some associations with NYPD, and he was saying that heavy weapons refers to like armored vehicles and is mostly a show of force type of thing. Like a don't mess with us, we're out right now type of thing. So it was kind of like a puffing up of exactly like a deterrent type of thing.
Counterterrorism arrested a man on 66th and 5th Avenue yesterday, about 24 hours ago, before all this went down as well. Didn't get a name, any other information. I just know that there was a report that counterterrorism took a guy down in NYC yesterday evening before all this went down. But once again, no other details.
And the NYP's counterterrorism task force is definitely up on par with the FBI's counterterrorism task force as well. I mean, they're definitely all over the place in everything.
Trump has just tweeted.
What?
Trump has just tweeted.
What he tweet? From the POTUS account or what? Why is he switching up accounts again or what?
He's on his real Donald Trump. Says spoke to
This guy's a
UK Prime
tweeter.
Minister Theresa May today to offer condolences on the terrorist attack in London. She is strong and doing very well.
Sure he knows all about the bloodline, huh?
Yep.
Strong genes.
They got that family group chat. You know what I mean?
It's it just bothers me at this point that this has all happened. There's not a suspect. We were hit with a full onslaught of it's a Muslim terror attack. They had the suspect, and then they just pulled the suspect back. I mean, where's Daz? I mean, where's somebody on the ground over there, man? Or somebody has some. I mean, what's going on? How can you have this go down and no talk? I mean, just go crickets.
Yeah.
On a suspect. Daz, I mean, where's
right.
Of course, what time is it over there right now?
4 hours from now, it's 1:37 a.m.
Okay. So we may not see any other information come out till morning.
Yeah, for a while. Yep.
It looks like the township of Rothschild, well, the village of Rothschild in Wisconsin was formed by the Rothschild Homemakers Group, which has ties, of course, to the Rothschild Company, which is owned by the Rothschilds. So pretty much essentially this town is owned by the Rothschilds.
B-link the wiki in the chat. I don't know if you guys want to look at that.
Where the heck is my chat?
So they're saying that 5 have been killed out of this event now?
Yeah. They changed it a while ago, but then CNN still insisted on reporting 4 for like hours after they changed it.
Hey, Mike, remember before when I was talking about the possibility of those being mannequins?
Yeah.
Now it seems like a couple of different people are making videos about it now. About the possibility of those bodies that were just all white like that being mannequin.
Well, see, they've got the guy on the stretcher trying to take him in the ambulance, the suspect, and they don't have a name. This is what they're saying, some of the newest information. They're saying a man thought to be the terrorist behind yesterday's attack is wheeled onto an ambulance. Then they have an image. So are they saying yesterday? So this is within the past hour, fresh information they're putting out, but no name. No name whatsoever. The suspect lies on a stretcher outside of Parliament with paramedics treating his injuries while armed cops stand guard. No name.
So I think we should do a facial recognition search and start buying some valves.
Did they pull the guy's pants down or something? I don't understand that. Why was he half naked?
Who, the shooter?
He could have been shot in the leg, in like the thigh or something.
Huh?
And they would have to cut his own pants in order to seal up the wound.
Okay, I didn't know where he was shot or anything like that. Any of the other details.
Or during searches, they may rip off clothes just to make sure that he doesn't have anything underneath. No weapons.
In initial reports, they
wiki up fast.
Yeah, they did. That was hours ago. Reptoid sent that to me. I was like, dude, that was fast. That was hours ago. It was like, what? And one of the reports was saying they thought the car had explosives in it as well. And I heard a guy say that the whole plan, he only said this once when I was listening over BBC, said that the whole plan was to have, it seemed like there was a bomb go off on the bridge and stop Parliament from evacuating.
Which there was reports of explosions. Also, right now, the White House has just released a release about Vice President, what is his name? Vice President, whatever his name is. I'm having a mind blank on our
Mike Pence?
Pence. Vice President Pence's meeting with UK Foreign Secretary Boris Johnson.
Boris. Fuck. Illuminati puppet.
Oh, Bojo.
And all it is them talking about condolences, and the Vice President and Foreign Secretary Johnson reaffirmed the critical importance of the special relationship and expressed a desire to strengthen U.S.-UK cooperation across a wide range of bilateral and global issues. And that's the entire readout.
Blah, 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 blah.
So the car, going back to what you were saying earlier, Eric, the car hit the rail on the bridge, knocking people off the bridge, but was still able to continue driving straight down the road.
That's what got
me. And then they said crashed into a fence, yet there seems to be no damage there, and there's massive damage to the car in front of the car. It just
I really want to show the person under the quote unquote person under the bus, but I do not want Mike to get hit with anything.
Yeah, you can't do that.
Yeah, that if anything, that one looks like a mannequin.
Well, I do have some eyewitness audio if you guys want to hear it. I don't know if you'll be able to hear it in the Hangout. I'll try to, but it's going to bleed through the OBS. Did you guys hear that?
I did see still images of that same person that was in the middle of the street earlier on in the day. I mean, I can't confirm it was face down, so I can't. And I'm guessing it was after the bus had moved. So
I'm speaking of the person directly under the bus.
Well, yeah, I mean the photo that I had seen was from the other angle, looking towards the railing, and the bus was nowhere to be seen.
Yeah, I've seen all the images. I've seen them all raw earlier, like with none of the blur. And of course, they were at a distance.
And blur? Don't mind me. Go ahead. What are you saying?
I'm sitting here looking at some of the images that are all blurry. The one guy in all black laying on the ground. You know, we need to gather. Have they released any of these people's names? Any of the people that were injured? Jeez, oh Pete's, man. You see, on BBC earlier, they said that this was a 4x4. When they showed that car, they were like, well, that's not a 4x4. That's not it. And that was it. That was the vehicle. Just because it wasn't like a big 4x4 truck or something, they said that it wasn't it.
I was still under the impression it was a 4x4 truck.
They were saying it's a little 4x4 SUV.
It was a small SUV.
Right. Super small, compact.
It was, yeah, the last I had seen, it was some kind of Hyundai, however you present it.
And I'm just assuming that it's a 4x4 because of the talk of 4x4.
It's said to be a 4x4, which is why he was able to quickly go up on the curb like that.
Balls. 50 mile an hour, dude. You're going to go up on the damn curb regardless. 4x4 or nothing.
It's true. You're driving a Geo Metro and you're hopping the curb.
Yeah.
Acting like he took his time to get up on top of there. Oh, can't scratch the paint. You know, like, get out of here. He just bucked people off a bridge. Smashed the front end up pretty damn good, the process. That's what I don't understand. Where did that damage at the car come from? On the bridge when he hit the people? If well, not, guys, where's the damage from it?
Let me play the 40-second Scotland Yard press conference for you real quick, all right?
Right.
This was Scotland.
It was only 40 seconds?
Yeah.
Since 2:40 this afternoon, the MPS has responded to an incident in the area of Parliament Square, and the Senior National Coordinator has declared this a terrorist incident. And although we remain open-minded to the motive, a full counter-terrorism investigation is already underway. This is led by the Met's Counter-Terrorism Command. At this stage, I will confirm what we know has happened, but I will not speculate. We received a number of different reports, which included a person in the river, a car in collision with pedestrians, and a man armed with a knife. Officers were already in that location as part of routine policing, but immediately additional officers were sent to the scene, and that included firearms officers.
All right. Well, let me go back and get the witness media.
As normal, going in and coming back.
Let's see what this guy says.
As normal, going in and coming back. Zigzags. Yeah. So 3 times, and then the 3rd time, then there was a gentleman and landed in the middle of the road. Then I had to stop and then stop the other vehicles.
I wonder what else is out there. This guy almost looks like the guy they said they pegged for the.
No, they look different. The guy looks older.
As normal, going in and coming back. Zigzags. Yeah. So 3 times, and then the 3rd time, then there was a gentleman and landed in the middle of the road. Then I had to stop and then stop the other vehicles.
Interesting.
Okay, so B's saying that the 2 fellows that raped the high school girl in Rockville were both 18-year-old refugees. Interesting.
Oh, that's very interesting. That's crazy.
In the numbers we were talking about earlier with from the CDC, I think he said of I don't want to go quote numbers without having it. I'll have to ask him if you hear me, B, can let us know or whatever. He was quoting some numbers on the birth rates here of
8 to 1.5.
people would 8 to 1.
Yeah, 8 to 1.5.
What? I didn't know the exact wording ratio of what it was.
Children born by Middle Easterns to United States citizens here in the United States.
That's crazy. That's just crazy.
And then for Hispanics, it was 2 to 1.
Yeah, so there's footage out there of Muslim preachers, we'll call them, they're very extremist, and they're saying flat out in these videos, the translation flat out says, continue to multiply as fast as possible because it's the only way that we're gonna have an army big enough. It's insane. It's a lot of the militant sides to the religion are pushing that ideology as the way that they're going to eventually win their war.
And one thing to keep in mind, everyone. Can you guys hear me?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Also, keep in mind, everyone, the fact that majority of the Muslims that are coming in from other different countries, and even some, not all, that are inside of this country, they don't vaccinate. They don't do a lot of things that you get done at your doctor's office.
A lot of them are
He
exempt.
just commented in the chat. He said immigrant families 8 to 1.5 of American families.
Yep. Man. It's very interesting how the numbers are swayed, you know?
Can somebody say 2030 agenda? I guess not. Nobody's not going to say it then. See how it is.
2030 agenda.
2030.
2030 agenda.
How many seconds? But what I'm saying by that is,
I was muted.
Majority of the 8 to 1.5 ratio is children. Now imagine when these children in 2030, when they're adults. Think about that huge increase.
Well, but that doesn't sound like a depopulation agenda. That sounds like a reassociation.
I wasn't going into the depopulation part of 2030. I was just going into the resettlement of 2030.
Sure you were. Fire. I'm gonna lighten up the mood, man.
Wait. Wait, I'm lighting up the mood or you're lighting up the mood? I'm confused on what's going on right now.
I think half of us are still eating dinner.
Yeah. That's what happens when you're you can get it in whenever you can. Hell, when you're out there running the streets sometimes covering these events, food, water, man, there's like we struggle to even find places to go to the bathroom, man.
Oh,
It's
we
like
had a
all we
hard
do
time
is-
with that in DC. Everybody was all barricaded up.
Man, it's just like you hardly get a chance to stop and do anything, and it's a go, and it happens so quick too. It's just by the time it's all done, it's like you've been running a track meet.
It's true. With blisters.
Yeah, it's definitely right in the rush of the atmosphere is what pushes a lot of us through it. You know what I'm saying? Especially when there's booms going off around, all chaos is move.
Move and be vigilant, because you never know what might be right behind you.
Couple undercovers that are going to throw a flashbang in your face.
In just the mace.
Question for
In
you:
just the mace.
what does throwing trash cans in the middle of the road do?
Oh, dude, I got the
What is that
best
supposed to be
footage of
for?
them dragging that trash can we saw, Eric. Remember that?
But what is it? What is it supposed to accomplish?
It's
Get
just
some
attack.
photos.
It's just to do something stupid. It shows you. It shows you the intelligence behind these groups. I mean, they don't. They're a little petty fire. What'd you do? You smash some windows, burn some trash cans. Like, you did nothing else.
Yeah.
You changed no law. You didn't talk to no leaders. You did nothing.
Except for their
Oh,
own
they don't
leaders.
want to talk. If anybody tries to talk to them that doesn't agree with them, they don't want to talk at all.
They were breaking their own people out there, for crying out loud. I watched them. They're smashing bricks right in front of me in the ground, just breaking them into pieces, and they started launching them. And although they were throwing them at cops, some of them had some puny arms on them because they were clipping their people on the front line. They were going down quick. Like, I was like, dude, man,
they were just like, man down, just dropping.
So true.
Oh man.
Hey, yo, I liked that guy with the stick and the shield at the Berkeley.
Oh,
He
no.
was the man.
At Berkeley.
Wait. What are you? Oh,
Wasn't that at Berkeley?
Face stick man.
Yeah, the guy with the shield, man. The Antifa.
When you said guy with the stick, it reminded me of a guy we saw outside the deplorball. They got pummeled, and he was bleeding. You know, I was right there next to him. Me and Mr. Anderson were like squeezed up against the wall. And out of nowhere, they just start trying to beat him again, and somebody comes through with a stick. You can even see it in some of my footage. They start jabbing him and hitting him with the stick.
What?
Yeah. I was like,
Crazy.
dude, like, and people were like, oh, it's fake. It's makeup on his face. I'm like, no, that's fucking blood. He's getting hit. I'm like, right here.
That's the thing, though. People can cry and say that certain things are fake like that right there when it's obviously real.
You're right.
So when you have something like a plant being launched at the side of your ear, you're just like, yep, it looks like it's time to head indoors.
You know, DC has an environment that has a lot of protests. You know, probably more so than anywhere, wouldn't you say? Around the clock, different protests. Let's say East Coast. East Coast.
I would think so.
DC and New York.
Yeah,
Well,
they're
that-
definitely up there.
Right, okay. NYC and DC, those are your top two places right there. There's always action, in those places. Big time. I mean, that's where all the organizations always take the little protests and all this. It's where all the other big stuff's always popped off.
I can't wait for my first event.
Well,
I mean, I don't look forward to something bad happening, but
Has anybody heard from Vernon Supreme since the event?
oh man, that's a crazy guy.
From underneath his rock. You know that guy drives a Bentley and lives in a mansion, right?
Yep.
Not a doubt.
I wouldn't put it past
But
him.
hey, he makes all his money singing hot dogs and applesauce. Hot dogs.
Running around looking like a bum with a boot on his head.
Thanks, thanks.
You got a huge following.
I did it for you, to be free.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, when you see them characters in town, you know there's something going on.
Oh, and he was provoking majority of the time too.
Westboro Baptist. Look at all the characters we've come across throughout the past couple of years, whatever. All these events.
Oh man, it was one of the Carolina riots. I remember the guy. He just never stopped saying like the blood of Jesus.
Oh
the
my
blood of
goodness,
Jesus.
they were doing that
Well,
at
you
the
know,
DNC.
They do it. I mean, it's something I feel like I shouldn't laugh at, but at the same time, it's what they're doing out there. It doesn't seem anything connected to like the true heart of a church, like Westboro Baptist Church. What they do out there, it's like provocateur stuff, man.
No,
It's like
yeah,
they're
I
going
don't
out there
agree with
begging
that.
for drama. They're begging
Well, they
to
are
get
provocateurs.
hit, begging to get punched in the face. They want it.
Yeah, they go too far. They go too far on
And they're
purpose.
trying to rather sue your ass, and then that's how they get their funding to keep on going.
Well, that's exactly what they do.
Yeah, it's scandal, and that's
Like
not righteous.
Like inside of my footage
No,
from the
that's not
DNC.
for sure.
Yeah, my footage from the DNC. There was one of the Westboro Baptist Church guys. He's getting in this guy's face, telling him to repent, and the guy's like, "Can you please get out of my face?" Then he's like, "Why? Because you're a sinner." And then the guy's like, "Get out of my face." So then the Westboro Baptist Church guy gets directly in his face, and then the guy shoves him out the way. And then the Westboro Baptist Church guy goes and gets a police officer, saying, "He assaulted me."
That's so pathetic, dude. That's exactly how they operate. That's why when I saw him up there getting stalked and people getting ready to punch him last time I saw him, I was just like, well, you deserve what you get this time. Like, I know your game now. I know what you're up to. You're just like the rest of them that show up here, and every time they show up, there's a flag burning or there's some kind of event they create. They create it for views. Clickbait. They use these places as a backdrop.
Yeah, they go around all over the place eating hot dogs and applesauce. And then they just go doing all that other stuff to get their funding.
What is it? April 8th, we've got protests coming up. May 1st, we've got protests coming up. You guys know of any other big dates thus far? Planned protests?
Only thing I can really think of is May 1st, and for the what is that thing called? June, DC area. They meet every year.
Bilderberg?
Kind of. Yes, them peoples.
Okay, and that's June?
Yes, beginning of June.
Beginning of June.
I know March 30th and 31st is National Call-In Day, and it's not like call-in to your job. It's call-in to your local government, and I'll have to find it, and I'll make a video about it
Now that
tomorrow.
right there sounds more productive.
Right. You're right. That's exactly what I was about to say.
It's about the vaccines. Yeah, it's about the vaccines and making a safety commission and.
Oh no, that's more right.
But I feel I want to support that, so I'm gonna probably make a video about it tomorrow.
Yeah, more people need to be called for senators and governors. That's what it's all about. We say it all the damn time.
And it has a script. Like somebody already wrote a script in case people don't know what to say, because I know that will be a lot of people's thing. It says they don't know what to say when they call and speak to these people. So there's already a pre-written script, and you just put in your own name. Or I'll make a video on it tomorrow. Put it out. Share it on Twitter.
You know, and just the phone ringing off the hook, it gets them thinking. You guys got to realize this. The senator, the governor, whoever's in the offices there, when their secretaries and everything are like, sir, you've got another call. Sir, you've got another call. Sir. And it's just ringing off the hook. They're like, what is going on now? You know what I'm saying? You start to get their attention. You see, and that's what we need to do. Yeah, backing something like that is definitely possible.
Yeah, we need to keep the pressure on them on things that
it's happening more often. Right, keep the pressure on them.
Yeah, because then they know that, look, when it comes up for election, we're going to remember what you're doing or what you're not doing, you know?
Mm-hmm.
And what you're not doing for us stands out a lot more than what you're doing. So
I think a lot of people, all too often, they just throw it home, and all they ever know about any of the people running for commissioner or whatever in their town, they see off the TV and they just see the ads that are ran, and they gravitate and take a liking to whatever they're showing through these ads.
And that's exactly what it is. And the problem too is most people don't even know who their representatives are.
That's exactly. They're not connected. Today, if we can get enough people to wake up and see that, and call in and really see and pay attention to who's who. The next, like you said, next time voting comes around, well, you're not going to be in that seat. We'll put somebody else in it. I'll put a fresh 18-year-old that's righteous in there, maybe green, but versus some older crooked fool. You know?
That's one thing that's always pissed me off, and I've saw too much of it from living inside of the area that I used to live inside of in Jersey, where everybody would just go inside the voting booths, hit Democrat, 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 not even knowing their names of who the people even are, but just because they're Democrat, they vote for that person.
That's crazy. Did you see the video I put out earlier about the Philly? You used to be in Philly or in that area. Philly DA got busted for bribery. He was taking money from the wealthy. And I'm like, well, dude, look, if it's happening here with this dude, the DA in Philly, can you imagine the district attorney? Come on. It could be happening all over the place.
People have been waiting on there for him for the longest.
And not even money, but trips all
to the Caribbean.
Oh yeah,
multiple times.
In
exchange for this rich guy to come into Philadelphia International Airport without going through any security checks.
Yeah. Also, too, in reference to pulling strings and leniency for people that were facing trial and convictions. You know.
And that's shit.
And unfortunately, the world we live in, it's not what you know, it's who you know. And that's how it works.
Who you know till you blow.
Darn right.
with these butt pirates.
Yep, exactly.
What, the LGBT community going to come and hang me?
No, I was meaning careful. You might offend something that did.
I'm just speaking truth, man. These dudes in the game.
I'm saying in the sense of those people are watching us. You know,
I forget the lady's name the other day. She came out and made a statement, said that she's an industry in the music industry. She's like, yeah, 85% of the guys that I know in the music industry are swinging because that's what they've turned it into. Seen Game say the same thing.
We even had a little topic on that earlier today when we weren't live.
Oh, I mean, it's kind of obvious with guys like Dr. Dre them in there. I mean, look back at Dre and the stethoscope and makeup. I
don't know anything about that.
Oh, that was before your time.
Oh, he was a disco guy. He was a disco guy before his rap thing with tights on. And
really?
Big afro. And
really?
He was a disco guy, man, with gold spandex on. I wish I could find
Easy burned him. Easy put his album cover out with him dressed like that. That's like an all-time diss. You thought the Tupac Biggie beef was bad. I mean, he dissed him big on that album cover.
It's like you diss yourself, man. Like you incriminated yourself by putting that on.
Well, it shows. I mean, that's why you see Lil Wayne and Birdman Frenching and tugging down the throat, and they've got these new guys.
Crazy,
This new Young Thug dude. He's the same. They've got him all tricked out, wearing dresses and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I want to talk about that for a second.
Will Smith's son does the same thing.
At my old job, for those that don't know, I've worked around teens at my old job for 3 years. And these teens would go to these different stores, go into these fitting rooms, and put on these dresses. And they would take these photos and send it to people via Snapchat or whatever other social media that they would send it on because it was a cool thing to do. Obviously, most would not buy the dress because it's just that thing with talking to the person about buying a dress. But some would. And then these photos would get leaked, and then they're pretty much blackmailed because they have all these photos wearing these dresses. But they're trying to do it to be popular while wearing the dresses and sending it to their friends. But then it's, you get where I'm going with this.
Well, that's what Dave Chappelle said about the Hollywood there. He said, why they try to put every black man in a dress? He said, I'm not getting another damn dress. And several others did too. It's like a sign that you've bent over and you're being used by them. I've seen some videos deep when the music industry flaunts it, man, right in front of your face, big time. A lot of it does these days.
It's all over the place, man.
Like, I mean, it's getting to, and then they're putting in the stuff for the kids, like in the schools and all this other stuff. Like, it's ridiculous, man. It truly is.
You know what makes me sick is seeing
Like,
some of them trying to cover up the pedo stuff. Like, a guy's got a 50-year-old guy's got his hand over the mouth of a 5-year-old boy, and they're like, it's not a crime. It's just it's something else. It's a mental problem. It's not a crime though. It's not a crime. Trying to make it seem like it's okay for this to happen.
Yeah, and even with that too, I wish Bobby was in here right now. Bobby, if you're listening, please join into the hangout. But there was 2 shows that we were talking about that made like the character that was kind of like the main character in that thing. And I'm going to speak specifically on Black Mirror for this. The character was this 16, 17-year-old teen or whatever. He gets blackmailed by these anonymous people and has to do whatever they tell him to do. Long story short, he has to go rob a bank and all of that stuff. And then come to find out at the end, the reason on why they were doing this, like in the beginning, they made it just seem like he was watching porn or something. And then they were going to just leak him masturbating to his friends. But come to find out at the end of the episode, he wasn't just masturbating at porn. He was looking at child pornography. And the way on how the episode was designed, you were to feel bad for this kid or for this teen the entire time throughout the episode until near the end of the state that he did the child pornography.
Trickery.
Watching child pornography.
That's like slipping that big old golden penis into the Little Mermaid castle in the background. All so subtly. Lion King, when he blows the dust, it says sex in the air.
Yep.
Come on, people. It's all over the place. It's, I mean, we've talked about this over and over and over again. But it's definitely embedded in everything. It's what we're up against.
Well, you got Pornhub plowing snow in Jersey.
Yeah, and Massachusetts.
Yeah.
I was going to say that Beauty and the Beast is about what, bestiality and Stockholm syndrome.
Yep.
Mm-hmm. And don't they have a gay scene inside of that as well? Or was that a different Disney movie?
No, that was, well, it wasn't I don't think it was a gay scene. I think like the main bad guys' buddies, like the bar buddies, they turned out to be gay in the newest movie that got that's what got the Christians all up in arms instead of like the bestiality and Stockholm syndrome.
You know, I don't have a problem with individual that is born a certain way and is just that way. I get it and understand it, but I don't promote doing something that goes against what I feel is the true nature of man and woman. When I see pedophilic rings, when I see kids that don't have a chance to make that decision, then they should grow up and have a chance instead of getting butt raped and plugged. It almost birth. We talked about Solomon's Key and everything else they do to these kids. They don't have a chance, and they should. They should have a free chance instead of being taken advantage of at such a young age. They should have a free chance.
And one thing about that too that really gets me what it is, there's like I don't even really get into my opinion with it, but like how you're speaking on that, how sense of some people may be born that way, but if you're putting it in the sense to where it's the thing to do,
right?
Thing to be.
Well, it's because they've overtaken the industry.
Yeah, I don't agree with indoctrination. Like, I don't agree with that. Like, yeah, that's how I see it. Is like you're indoctrinating youth at a young age where they're not even getting a fair chance to see things their own way and then make their own decisions later as they mature. You're just force feeding it to them as young children with minds that are easily moldable. You're just forcing it to them, and they don't have a choice. It's like they're gonna assume.
But then they grow up thinking that that's the norm.
Yeah, that's what I was getting at. It's like they're gonna assume. But I feel like that's where they're trying to take. That's where this is trying to be taken, is to where they're saying that this is a norm.
Right.
You know, that this is a norm and we must accept it.
And I even do a lot of the chemical enhancers too.
I was going to Sorry.
Go ahead, bro.
I was gonna say that one thing to kind of counter on that, the whole against the social norm thing, is the social norms of current day were the indoctrination of yesterday. So it's always been.
That's a good point.
I mean, it's always evolving into different social norms. I mean, I don't. So I mean, what was bad yesterday is good today, and what was good today will be bad tomorrow. So I don't know. I personally think that, and depending on what you were raised at, was your indoctrination, and will be your determination for what is good in your future life and what you should carry on to your children.
But even still with that, I look at it as there's still more things. Like, for example, now parents aren't raising their children anymore. Majority of the time, the television is, the internet is.
I agree with that.
And a
Parents
busted
have stepped away.
education system.
Which in my opinion, the actual public education system was done for no other purpose other than to encourage that both parents can actually go out and make money, thus bringing in more income into the federal coffers. More tax money, essentially. If more money's being made for the federal government. And if both parents can now work because the kids are now in public education from age 5 to 18, then the federal government can now make more money. So public education was not to give children a step ahead, in my opinion. It was more so to give the federal government more tax money, to expand the government.
Right. I mean, speaking of tax money with education, look at things like the smart boards. I mean, how many tens of thousands or millions of dollars nationwide were spent like 5-6 years ago on smart boards for all these schools? Now the kids are being told, take your phones out, go to your Google Documents and open this group document and let's edit it together. And my kids are telling me that it's because the teachers are telling them that it's just faster for you to type on the keyboard on your phone. They're not even teaching, unless you specifically take a programming class in high school, at least in our area, they're not teaching you even to use a keyboard anymore. They're assuming you already know it from home. Most of the kids know it just from their phones.
And to me, that's backwards, because I think a keyboard is more of a necessity to learn than a cell phone screen.
Well, my point was
and
the
even
smart
with that
boards,
too,
with the money spent, you know?
That is, and just for a quick thing on the phones, even with that, most kids and teens don't use the keyboard the way on how everybody else uses the keyboard. They use swipe. They swipe.
Yeah, they swipe. Yeah, or talk to it.
Yeah.
No, I directly benefited from the sale of all of those smart boards.
Yeah, not a doubt.
I did actually
and for the companies,
benefit from the sale of all this.
And that's okay. And that's okay. But it was the mandated by government and tax money that went into it that ended up not benefiting everybody. Maybe in the short term, but definitely not for the long term. The companies.
Yes, at my old job, we were required to order smart boards for every single classroom, yet we only had 2 installed out of 9 classrooms.
Yeah, that's crazy. That's such a waste.
And then the rest were just sitting inside of a closet somewhere. Right. And I didn't even know where they are, and I'm the tech guy that had to install them. That'll let you know something.
Well, what the freak, Eric?
I was told not to install them.
Nobody's gonna laugh.
Seems like you're gonna be, or you were slacking at your job, or they couldn't afford
3-hour lunch breaks.
They couldn't afford the toggles needed to mount them to the wall because they spent $10,000 on a smart board.
It was a little bit more than that.
Oh yeah, sorry. The 20% markup. I forgot about that one. That's my bad.
No, I was talking about the $7,000 projectors to go with it.
plus my 20% markup.
Talking about I was talking about taking a drone where to dive into the water like crazy tech.
Yeah, I remember that.
I just shared a tweet here with you guys in the message. It's a new ATV that they're saying is truly all terrain. It's pretty crazy because they're just driving it like a 4-wheeler and they hit the water and the wheels fold up and it turns into a jet ski and they're gone.
Here, I'll show it to everybody real quick.
I mean, you talk about being able to get out somewhere and go.
Man, that's sweet. Yeah, that's awesome.
I mean, I've seen the cars that went to boats, but they were rinky-dink and all this other stuff. This looks like it happens rather quickly. The wheels just fold up as soon as you hit the water, a boat gone. $40,000, they're not cheap.
Well, some people are wanting $50,000 a month to create an independent news network.
Yeah.
You know what? Don't give me your audio. I don't want your stinking audio. All right, here we go.
Oh, dang, I see how it is.
Not you.
They're going to buy one of those every month and then use the other 10 grand just to do their independent.
I was going to say, they can build an army of drones, of reporter drones, send them all over the country. I have an idea.
See if you could pitch it to him.
No, for me to even talk to that person, they're going to have to remove the thing off the top of their head first so we can see what's in there.
Hey, I got a interesting update for those that got clear skies and may live in the northern latitudes or the northern areas of the United States. Massive solar windstorm was coming in, and tonight auroras are said to be visible throughout half the United States because the wind speeds are topping at over 1,200. So if you're outside, got clear skies, may see a glimpse of an aurora out there.
You have a map?
A map?
Yes, because you already know I will go to the lake right now and get some footage. If it's for Ohio.
It's just saying the northern part of the United States. I mean, the whole northern part. So, I mean, you're in northern Ohio. You'd be in prime location, I'd say, if you're going to be able to see it anywhere. You guys.
Oh, I can see Canada from here.
Well, they're saying.
That was a joke, obviously.
I was about to say Sarah Palin could see Russia from her house.
Trying to pull up some space weather.
Here's your ATV, D.
Lee, we're gonna get that, and you can get here to Ohio in about an hour and a half.
That'd be crazy.
Oh, that'd be crazy. See her pull up on that real quick.
Just carry some extra gas in the tank with you.
You may get stopped at or stopped by ICE or the Coast Guard on your way, but who knows?
That's
you can just
cool.
pull on land and just pull off on there.
It's like a jet ski with fold-up wheels.
All you got to do is just say, "Can you prove I crossed the border?"
The quad
there's
ski
a lot of open land up there.
starts at $40,000.
Yeah.
Hey, that's still an extra $10,000 for that month.
Yeah, he can run his whole network with that.
Lake Erie News.
Fog.
Right. Who needs a helicopter?
Tonight, fog.
You have
Tomorrow, more fog. Breaking news. It's foggy.
That shit looks cool though, man.
That fog was freaky. I'm like, what if there's a boat right there in front of me and I can't see it? It's about to crash into me.
Pop up foghorn like the Titanic.
Yeah, foghorn.
Hey, did you see they're
Mike,
starting
Mike,
to
are you gonna
dive
pull that
to
up
look
really
at the
quick?
Titanic?
What happened?
Oh, let me see. Are you able to
They're
pull up that
starting.
video?
Oh, go ahead.
Whoa, that was all chopped to hell back. I don't know what anybody said there.
I don't know what anybody just said either.
Can I pull up what, Eric?
The video that I did on Twitter that day?
On the file?
Just for those that may have not saw the video.
Absolutely.
Like in the chat.
Just a moment. I shall get it.
But yeah, you couldn't see anything. It was foggy.
Oh, I got an update. You know how we were talking. You know how we were talking earlier about how AT&T was pulling their ads from Google and YouTube. Now Verizon has joined.
Seriously?
So we have ATT. Yeah, I guess you didn't get the memo.
Not yet.
ATT
Not
and
yet.
Verizon are withdrawing much of their advertising from Google amid a widening backlash against the internet giants.
Who is the other one now?
It's
Verizon.
AT&T and Verizon.
Verizon.
Yeah.
Really?
They're saying because of the giants, get this, algorithmic ad placement. So it comes down to this algorithm, which is obviously what's doing a lot of the attacking on all of our videos as well. But they're saying that this Wednesday's decision reflects concerns by the country's biggest telecom companies that Google's automated systems could be placing their ads beside extremist content on websites that promote hate speech. We are deeply concerned that our ads may appear alongside YouTube content promoting terrorism and hate. Now, why all of a sudden are they concerned about this? Is the question. They've never cared about none of this crap before.
Yep. I'm telling you, there's a division. There's a bigger division coming, and they're preparing for that bigger division.
Yeah, it was the LGBT XYZ groups that started bringing it up.
UWSY. I think I missed 15 other ones that are official inside of New York City.
Well, Verizon just said in a statement that they just took immediate action to suspend this type of ad placement after it learned that the ads were appearing on non-sanctioned websites. What is that? What is that on non-sanctioned websites? I can only imagine that ours are.
That sounds like Russia.
It's just what they're saying. It says all the.
So what is classified as a sanctioned?
Let me tell you one thing. One thing that I do know about these cellular companies, and the one that's in question, the breaking news one in particular, is that they are very, very strict about every single piece of marketing down to the individual person as an independent retailer. Okay, so let's say I needed to put a flyer together, right? And I put a flyer together and I sent it to somebody to approve. Well, they would have to send it so far up the ladder to get approval, it would literally have to go to the corporate marketing people and come all the way back down the ladder as in an approved format with the approved text and the approved everything else. So I can totally see how they may not be happy if somebody on their website has advertising turned on their website, and their website is about XYZ, and the mobile carrier doesn't promote XYZ or never would, yet they pay Google to provide their ad. So I can completely see what they mean by whatever the quote was that they said. But
the Guardian, a British newspaper, pulled the advertising as well. The Guardian did, and they're saying that the ads were appearing next to white nationalists and Islamic extremists. Do you see what they're doing here? I've been saying this for the longest time. It wasn't just an ISIS thing. They're going to mold and mix this into domestic terror, and here we go. White nationalism, they're saying. So, dude, they can say whatever they want at this point. They're already calling all of us fake news and everything else. Non-sanctioned website. You guarantee you, it's going to be anyone that they don't put their stamp of approval on.
Yep.
Well, I
tweeted about this the other day, and I said it sounds like a big blanket for them to shove everybody they disagree with under.
Now, I was going to say that in defense of the I guess the advertiser, I mean, if I was going to be advertising, I would want to be able to choose what type of content my advertisement would be on, because
you figured that would have already been in place. I mean,
no. But I'm looking at kind of like the silver lining of this is maybe these companies are realizing that hey, well, maybe me advertising on this website is potentially tarnishing my name because I don't agree with this.
Right.
Maybe they're starting to get a little bit of a better moral compass or a better ethical compass. Not promoting the funding of these websites that they don't
I'm
agree
glad
with,
they're
or
doing it.
this content that they.
I think
Can
I
I
think
say
I
something
think
for
it,
a lighter side of this? Like,
Yeah,
it's
go for
like,
it.
for example, if Verizon on their website had a T-Mobile Tuesday ad playing.
Well, exactly. I mean, that exact kind. It's a conflict of interest at that point.
plus you can't
And I've
control it.
seen
They can't
I've seen it
control
work like
That's-
that before.
That's the
I've
problem.
seen it like that.
That's the problem. They
I'm
can't
glad they're
control
doing.
it.
I'm glad they're checking Google, because how else were we going to do it? We've been bitching about this the whole time, and I know other YouTube channels out there all about money would scoff at this, but they need checked, and they need other individuals to say, "Hey, you're not the big boss man you think you are, and we can bring you down, bring you to your knees." And if it's going to take all these big advertisement agencies or some of the biggest companies that run ads to pull away, well,
and I was going to say it's probably due to Verizon and AT&T being massive shareholders in these companies and saying, "Hey, if you don't fix this, we're going to tank your stock by dumping everything that we have." And we'll just dump the 14 billion shares of Google stock that we currently own in your company. We'll dump it on the market, and thus dropping the cost of your stock, making the rest of your shareholders no longer want your stock, and making your company go up.
Right
so you better
now,
fix this type of thing.
This is where we need a new platform. This is where, like, I mean, we've seen the Vimeos, the VidMe's, we've seen LŞIGH's, we've seen them all come and go, and none of them have been able to compete with Google or YouTube, period. So where's this next platform? It needs to come up right now. It needs to step on the scene, I think, right now, and be like, hey, Verizon, hey, AT&T, we'll take your business at a fraction of the price and open up shop. You know what I'm saying?
And have the bandwidth to be able to handle it. That's the biggest thing, is have a platform and reserve the servers to be able to handle it.
See, this is where Firefox needs to step up. Firefox should step up.
Isn't that owned by Microsoft and Bill Gates and all that, though?
No, it's an open-based.
Is it?
Operating system? Yeah, I think it's community ran.
It's the right time to do it because Google's pulling their services out of Firefox.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Hey, so any Firefox reps that are listening,
they've got a Firefox browser compared to the Google browser.
Yeah, people can't use Hangouts on Firefox anymore.
Oh, that was a tactical blow right there.
Yeah, absolutely.
Hey, so Marks and Spencer also pulled out from the advertising. Audi, RBS, L'Oreal, they also pulled out.
And here's the deal: these companies can't choose the websites this stuff is going on to. They're only putting their trust into Google. It's up to Google to disperse the advertising, and it's probably based on like Verizon said, an algorithm that can't make the decision whether this is a suitable or non-suitable website for their advertising. So, it's basically the major companies saying the algorithms can't be trusted.
Because the algorithms are targeted algorithms. So like you were talking earlier about the white supremacist website, just because it's a white supremacist website doesn't mean that person that's viewing that website doesn't like Verizon. So they'll see that targeted Verizon advertisement because it's done because they like Verizon and there's Google ads sense on that website.
Right.
Listen to this. On Tuesday, Google promised a number of changes, from tightening its policies and giving advertisers the ability to fine-tune where they want their ads to appear, to making it easier for advertisers to escalate a problem. Pledging to speed up its review process, Schindler wrote, "We'll be hiring significant numbers of people and developing new tools powered by our latest advancements in AI and machine learning to increase our capacity to review questionable content for advertising." So they're going to have an AI checking the content.
So they probably already had something already ready for it, for the situation.
I think they're saying they're trying to expedite it too by hiring creating jobs to put some eyes on it until they can get their quote unquote new algorithm, AI software.
Yeah. Yeah, because it says and developing new tools powered by our latest advancements in AI.
Yeah, I mean, and this could definitely be a double-edged sword. I mean, it could automatically start flagging everything, and not allowing AdSense to be placed on any content. I mean, it could be good, it could be bad, but I honestly say until we see something. I mean, currently it's some BS right now. So it could potentially get better, or it could potentially get worse, but what's worse than bullshit? Other than more bullshit. Sorry for the language.
Oh.
What? No. Twitter
Just
did
but
not
I see what
delete
I see what it is. It's because man, I tell you, I literally used to watch like the Dapple protests and stuff. And like the advertisement for a video for it would be like a big oil advertisement. Like
because it's targeted, because it involves oil.
Yeah, but do you think that they want that on a video, and then like it has commentary with people talking, like bashing the big oil companies, talking about how shitty they are? And
well, but it could be one of those things that Google, because it was put into that ad, it could have been indirectly targeted just because of it being something about oil, or it could have been just like what Facebook was doing a couple years ago, where they were manipulating people's feeds to be able to alter their perceptions of reality. So Google may have been playing these oil ads at the beginning of Dapple videos to piss people off, to get them even more riled up about what they were seeing in the Dapple video.
Yeah, that makes sense. That makes a lot of sense.
Strategic ad placement.
Yeah, that's.
I mean, and
weaponized,
that could
weaponized ad placement.
I mean, that could be because they were for the Dapple protest, or it was their algorithm just picking out a topic about oil.
You know what?
I mean,
that's where I think we've been slacking, and I'm about to do it. I'm about to flip the script and start running some freaking ads. I'm about to start promoting us in the truth.
Yeah.
Just little quick bangers. Hey, you want some truth? You sick of all the lies and the bullshit?
Come on over.
Just.
Hey guys, I'm on it. I'll have something edited by 3 a.m. We'll be able to go live with it.
What? That would be awesome, man.
Play Lopez on every video. Start seeing us a little bit.
It's like tired of seeing this guy. How about I listen to some truth?
Yo,
I can even teach you. The tricks on how he got rich for real.
Yeah, I get the bonus for free.
Yeah, for free.
Here, Google, here's $10,000. Why don't you place my ad on a couple of Alex Jones videos?
I hopped in his chat the other day and went to war. People were like, "Say it ain't so, Nabu." I'm like, "What? Say what? Say what?" I was like, "I want you to ask Alex about Stratford." And they're all, "Dude, Alec Baldwin and all these other cats that were in this shit were just going nuts." They're like, "What are you doing, Dabu? Get out of here!" Like, they're just going hit shit. I just kept firing rounds back. I was like, "Keep saying my name. Keep saying my name."
Yeah, for real. Make me fucking famous with your audience.
I was all big time, man. And then finally, they bowed. A couple of them just kind of like was like, "Look, we were just messing with you." I was like, "Sure you were." Like. You just sit there, just what you guys do daily. Sit around, talk shit, and Alex Jones just chat. For that 5,000 people watching, when he's sitting there like, "They're gonna suck you into the earth. These evil satanic globalists."
1776.
And don't forget,
excuse me for a minute. Excuse me for a minute.
And don't forget to get your nascent iodine and your available at Infowars.com.
Backed by Stratford.
Shit.
You can send your deposit directly to the Bank of Rothschild.
Don't forget about your Don't forget about them.
Super male vitality.
I
Alex
asked
needs
Paul-
help getting
I asked
up, so
Paul
you
Watson
need
earlier.
it too.
Don't
I
forget
asked
about my
Paul Watson.
$5,000 water purifier.
I asked Paul Watson if he was going to cover this stuff from the streets earlier, man. Honestly, I was like, yo, you're right there. It's your neck of the woods. I don't know who else is up there in London right there within their own backyard. You're going to cover this from the streets is what I asked him. He wouldn't respond. And don't you guys wonder, what are you? Like, how can you call yourself a journalist or a reporter if you're living in the city in an area where something huge is popping off and you won't even go out into the street and cover it? That bothers me because Joe Biggs, actually, Watcher said something. He was like, I bet Joe Biggs would go down there and pulled him out of the shadows. And Big responded, was like, yeah, it would. And I'll give Big credit. I've ran the streets with Biggs. He will get out there and go, you know. And I don't doubt that if he was in the position where he could, he would have. But
can I share my screen? You can go ahead, Dave. I'm just gonna share my screen.
My thing is if you got an event like a false flag like this going on down in your backyard, why are you not freaking out there reporting on it?
Because it's controlled opposition.
Are you guys able to see my screen?
I see. Yeah.
This is the Aurora map for tonight.
Oh,
The only ones who'll really be able to see it is Alaska.
Is that it fluctuating there in real time or something?
No, it's not real time. It'll be visible in these areas.
Okay.
Well, in that area is visible now. In 23 minutes, it'll be like here. 38 will be like there or whatever like that.
Well, that's a good little map. Good update. Means I was wrong. Means somebody fed me false information. And I'm pretty pissed. You know who you are.
You know who you are.
It happens, though. It happens.
I was excited to go out to the lake and film
I know you
Aurora.
were.
Hey, they could have said, they
What?
could have said North America, the northern portion of North America, and just heard America and thought that all of North America was the United States. Forgot about that whole country up above us.
They were like, isn't that the northern states of America? No,
Yeah.
that's Canada.
No, that's the northern states of America.
Canadian.
What's wrong with you, Eric?
Big, dude. Canada's big.
Canada's huge.
It is.
Canada goes all the way up to the North Pole.
Yeah, a big hole.
The big, just random hole on top of the earth. That's just
Yeah.
like, how does this even exist if we have water?
It's covered up by a big green
Yeah,
blob.
but haven't you ever heard of the oceanic depression? That's like as close as they come to admitting it.
So
When sailors get up there, the
Elevator.
earth bows. It dips down. It's called the oceanic depression. It's a real thing.
that's crazy.
Crickets.
Where's the water go? Yeah, that's what I wanted to know.
Well, you got to think in a gradual turn in, it would turn in with the way that I would see it is that it would be pulled in with the curve. If it was, it's not like it would be a straight drop off into it. I don't think. I think it would be a gradual curve into this thing. Because when I'm looking at the features of other planets, in like I said before, Venus, Mercury, Saturn, it looks like their holes are the same way. They're rounded. Like there's and these are rather large holes, so it's like it would take time when going into them. There would be a curvature into it.
Mountain water?
Mountain water?
Think about it. The water goes
Well,
into
yeah,
the earth and then comes out through the mountains. And then we have
Well, yeah, all the aquifers and everything else. Look at those crystals in Mexico. Can you imagine what the layers of the inside of this planet look like, dude, that they're not telling us about? That's like some Superman stuff, man.
Yeah, it's like
living crystal shards bigger than cars or buses.
Oh, dude, they got one
That's
cave.
crazy.
They're like a couple stories tall underground. And it's so hot in that cave. I'll have to look it up. I seen the
Right.
documentary on it, but they literally have to
Right.
have an air-conditioned
that-
suits that still only last for 20
Mhm.
minutes. They can.
I
only
think
be-
what you're talking about, it's the same cave.
Mexico.
Yeah, the two caves that you're talking about. It's
of the cave, I believe.
yeah, and I remember watching that documentary, and they had to. It was actually a flooded section of the cave, and they had to pump out the area, and they only had so much time before it ended up like refilling. But it was like ridiculously hot down there, so they had to
Can you
have.
imagine- those, dude,
the
those
suit.
are like living crystals, dog.
They probably have so much. Do you think they have? They probably have
glowing,
information on them.
like vibrating. Dude, I would love to know the frequency on them things and everything else about them. Like, there's got to be more. There's no way.
That's
just
the only
one
place
little
on
tiny
Earth, right?
pocket in Mexico is how I see it. There's got to be. I almost feel like if that's the case, there's probably pockets like that all over the place. If you go deep enough across the planet in the right places, and I'm saying it's going to be like that everywhere.
Oh, it's absolutely like that everywhere.
It could be a whole layer like that.
Okay, so B just got an article, and it's saying that a new program will prepare teens with autism to serve in the Israeli Defense Forces.
A new program?
Yes.
All right.
Israel is about to. You just remember, if Damascus falls, the biblical Damascus falls, it's going to be the Mossad in Israel to do it. They just threatened it the other day. They were bombing what they were saying was Hezbollah. And mainstream not wanting to talk about this at all. Russia stepped up and actually said, yo, Netanyahu, you better fucking chill because, excuse my language, because we've got convoys down here and all this other stuff. And yet Netanyahu responded, I think, yesterday or the day before and says, I don't care. We're going to do whatever we want. If we feel that we need to drop bombs, we're going to do it. And
They've been proving it all week. They've been lobbing missiles all week.
Look, they sent their own little ISIS goons across the border, right across the border from Israel, like last summer, to fire 2 RPGs off their shoulders into Israel. Didn't hit anything. And in return, Israel just started dropping bombs. It was a staged event. They sent these little dudes over out into the desert that look like ISIS 5 feet across the border to shoot some RPGs, and they drop bombs. Now, if they're taking out targets right around Damascus, I'm telling you, man, Assad's not just going to sit there. They're going to shoot down an Israeli jet at some point. And what's crazy is when they fired back this past time, one of the missiles went into Israel, and what is that dome they've got?
It's Iron Dome.
Iron Dome. It intercepted one of them. So they're definitely firing rounds, man. And it's when the mainstream's not talking about something like that, just one big bomb that could level Damascus could change everything overnight. Everything. I mean, a whole building. I mean, the whole building, the whole country, all the buildings are just reduced to rubble in all the cities. You know, Damascus, one of the very few that it's still held together.
And it's only in certain areas of Damascus. I mean, the destruction is across the entire suburbs of Damascus. It's pretty much just the city center that's being left alone right now, and that's just because they're fending they're fighting them off. They're keeping them away from the city center and like the palace and stuff.
Yeah, and I don't think that without any Russian help, they wouldn't even be this far.
Oh, absolutely not. They would have fell.
You know, what happened?
Prophecy.
Some of the prophecy calls about Russian troops occupying Jerusalem. How can that happen? Other people said, oh, in the past couple of years, they've seen Netanyahu and Putin all smiles and handshakes. And then other times, like right now, they're on the verge of World War III. But which way is it going to go between these two? Because Russia plays a big part in this, in my opinion. Russia's key to everything that's going on here on the world stage, is it not? They're involved on the other side of the coin with everything, with Crimea, Ukraine, everything with Europe, here with Israel, everything with Syria. You know, they were the only deterrents against Obama to stop Obama from doing stuff he wanted to do in Syria. So Russia's played a big part in stopping a lot of things from happening. And I think that Russia can only be pushed so far. They only have so much resource. They only have so many troops. They have a lot of territory to cover. They got more border than anyone in the world to defend. That's hard. And it's also an advantage to them in certain ways because they're operating in the Arctic unlike anyone else. What did I say last time? U.S. has 2 or 3 icebreakers. Russia has dozens. We have 2 or 3. And you wonder why we're not up in the Arctic and all this other stuff and locking things down? I'm sure they've got other technologies at play, but here on the world stage, that's what they let it be known that we've got. I also just seen that Japan just commissioned to have, is it a new destroyer that they're wanting to get because of the tensions with China? I guarantee you shit's going to pop off there in the South China Sea. It's almost a given. In due time, but I guess as always, where's it going to be first?
Hey guys.
What's that? Do we got a suspect's name yet?
No.
Oh, bullshit.
I'm looking at, there is a good possibility
that you're off work tomorrow?
No. That I may be able to see the aurora.
I can
hear. You're catching a glimpse?
I can hear the smile in your voice.
Yeah, I know.
I'm looking right now from the NOAA, and it comes very, very close to Ohio, the line.
Well, man, that's, I enjoy coming up to Cleveland and covering things up there, the atmosphere and everything. But the one thing that bothers me is they never fly the drone up there. It's a matter of fact, it's the one city right there with me and B trying to fly it. RNC, before the RNC wouldn't allow me, specifically told me it would not let me take off. Only other place.
Okay, you got all them airports.
Only other place that's done that to me was DC. Yeah, because all the airports right there and everything flying, which sucks. But if I go further west on the western side, up on the beachfront, get at least 5 miles away, I'm thinking I can get the drone up, get up over the lake.
What are you talking about?
Well, I just like to fly over the lake because the lake is, I know it could be choppy at times, but it's just, I've never flown over the lake. I'd like to try it. I've flown over the ocean and everything else. And
I just like to get it with all that fog, how it looks right now.
That would be killer too. It would be killer to get that.
You don't want that fog. That fog is creepy.
I would also just like to see what things look like from the air. You never know, man. We could look down and we could see some objects. Like, what the hell is that? Could be the next. We talked about it. Lake Michigan, is it, that has what they call America's underwater Stonehenge under 40 foot of water, where they found the mastodon carved in a rock. They try to keep it a secret. We know it's near an Indian spot or something like that I know of, but they haven't never give away the location 100%. But my thinking is, on a clear day in a right spot, if something like that's out there in the water and we're in the air, maybe we could see it. Maybe we could see something. You don't know if you don't go looking.
I don't see nowhere outside. I've never saw an aurora a day in my life. It would be nice.
Yeah, the cats up there in Sweden and all that, or Norway in the northern latitudes, man, they get a show all the time.
Well, the only time I've ever seen it was on a flight back from Alaska.
Oh wow! So you have seen it?
Yeah, it was off in the distance and it was really faint. I tried to get video of it, but it wouldn't be picked. It wasn't able to be picked up on my cell phone.
Oh, watch Jesus gloating to us all.
Maybe that's something we've got to do in our life, man. Maybe we've got to take it. Maybe that's it. Well, I talked about launching this weather balloon. If we're going to do it, it's got to be in a northern area. If we want to get any glimpse of the Northern Pole anywhere close, it's got to be from either Greenland or in Canada.
Are we doing it in the summer?
Yeah, they're making a bunch of
I would like to do it. Yeah, I was going to do it in the middle of the summer, but we're still going to go into the cold, even in the middle of the summer.
I'd rather it be negative 20 degrees Fahrenheit instead of negative 80 degrees Fahrenheit.
Have you ever looked at Greenland? I think Greenland holds a lot of mystery and a lot of keys, dude. It is it is nuts looking. It is
Vikings.
Greenland is just massive. Its mountains and its mountain chains and the design in them are unlike any other mountains you're going to see on the planet if you go looking. Just the way they're made, in the look and the stripes that are in them repeated. It's very weird. But that chunk of land is the closest chunk of land we could get on to get to the northernmost spot on this planet.
Sorry, there's a police chase inside of... I think this is inside of Arizona. The guy just got slammed hard by police.
Man, it just froze up.
Bad boys.
Oh man.
They got him.
I was actually watching something just a couple days ago on Greenland, and it was the thing that I was saying. It was something about underground bases. I think it was some video on YouTube, And it said that back in like the 60s or 70s, the United States, along with the Dutch, were building an under ice research facility there in Greenland. It was going to be one of like the deepest underground facilities, all dug into like the side of a glacier. And they ended up having to cancel it and close down the base after 2 years because of the ice shifting around and melting and parts of it.
Dude, this is crazy. This is crazy you're saying this. One of the craziest anomalies I've ever seen on Google Earth was in Greenland years ago. It sat there for years. It was like 100 miles long. It was a huge black. I was like, dude, this has got to be the biggest building because it had cuts in it. It had everything. It had design in it. It was massive. I was like, dude, this has got to be like an ancient something sticking out of the fucking... Yeah,
I remember seeing that also.
Thank God you remember that.
I do. It was like 100 miles long, and there was like strips of gold and stuff. It was like gold. Yeah. There was other strips of gold coloring in it.
What was that? Now it's gone. Now they've airbrushed it out. It's completely gone. You will not find it in Google Images, but it was there, and I'm glad you remember it because people probably think I'm crazy, but no, it was there, and it always threw me off. Like I used to scour Google in the images, and when I came across that. Like we were looking at the big Indian head up in Saskatchewan in Canada that was in the side of the earth. We were looking at the serpent heads down there in South America and everything else, all the other features of the planet.
I definitely do remember that. That was back in like the mid to early 2000s or something like that.
It was on my original channel. It's gone.
Yeah, it was. I mean, I remember. It may have been mid to late 2000s when I don't know when Google Maps satellite view first came out, but I remember scouring over that and like scrolling in, being like, "What the fuck what is this black thing in the middle of a white patch of area?"
Definitely. Tell you, that's what makes it mysterious to me. Greenland, man.
I'll tell you another area on Google Maps that I came across a couple weeks ago. The western half of Saudi Arabia is just crazy looking. I mean, you think of Saudi Arabia as being this giant sandy desert. The western half of Saudi Arabia, it looks like fucking hell. Like if you were to envision what hell would look like, it looks like hell, like lava, like old ancient lava flows and giant jagged rocks digging out or sticking out of the sand. Just insane stuff on the western coast of Saudi Arabia.
No doubt, ancient secrets are held there. No doubt. I mean, and that's a country that's spending billions to put a fence in a trench around the whole country right now. You know, and no one's. You talk about the wall here. They're doing it. Who do they think is going to invade them? Is what I keep asking. Like who are they preparing for? Because to put a fence up like that with checkpoints and a trench all the way around Saudi Arabia, they're spending all kinds of money to do it.
They're spending more money on that than they did on restructuring their capitals downtown.
Who they gonna piss off? Who's gonna come that far through the desert and make it that far to be that big of a problem? They have to think about it like that.
Not to mention, what resources do they have that anybody would even want, considering that they're pumping their oil reserves are coming out of the water.
It may be the same thing they went into Iraq and in Syria and all these other places. The ancient technology, maybe this ancient there, man. It is Saudi Arabia, like you said. Yeah. You're talking Mecca. You're talking about the Kaaba that sits there. You're talking all this other stuff.
There's so much historic stuff there.
There is.
Most likely just all buried right there.
And anything that's been connected to Christianity that's come rooted there has definitely been covered over in terms of the Islamic faith.
I mean, speaking of that, like one of the videos that got me looking and scouring over the country over there was a video of some the former what was he, the former physician to one of the, like, this second prince to the king of Saudi Arabia or something like that. He was given free pass of the country to be able to go anywhere, because even the citizens of Saudi Arabia have to stay in the cities and are not allowed to move freely around. Like, you have to have this like a piece of paper that says you're allowed to go wherever, like you have duty papers that if you wanted to leave the city that you were born in, you have to be authorized to leave the city. And because he was the physician, he was able to have free reign of the country. And he was a diehard Christian, and he started going around and investigating stuff. And he came across this place, and I don't like, you know, the stories of Moses leading the Exodus, and how they ended up in or like the whole tablets situation was where Moses came down the side of the mountain and he saw them worshiping the golden calf, and that whole scenario. That was supposedly, or in the books, it says that it took place on Mount Sinai. That was the area that they had was their sanctuary, or where they got to. That is traditionally thought of as being in a mountain in the Sinai Peninsula of Egypt. This guy was saying, and there's all this weird, like he took photos of it all. There's all this weird evidence of the ancient Hebrews being in the western portion of Saudi Arabia. And he took like pictures of like petroglyphs from 4,000 years ago, and found like what he was calling the real Mount Sinai in Saudi Arabia. And like there's areas where like in the Bible they talk about the Hebrews being instructed to cast off their sandals. And in this one area, there's what appear to be sandal imprints into the stone, like divots where the sandals basically burned into the stone, and they're all over this one area. And he's got like a picture of it, and they're like perfectly shoe size. Like a sandal was sitting there, and it like slowly started dipping into the earth. It was like an hour long documentary interview type of thing. I wish I can find it. I'll have to dig through my my YouTube history, and see if I find it, and I'll send it over to you, D. But it was some really interesting stuff, and the guy took some really interesting pictures and referenced it to actual written biblical events in the story of Exodus. About like one of the things was when they were walking through the desert. Moses took his staff and he beat on a rock, and the rock split, and a spring came forth to give water to all of the people. And he came across this stone that has it's like a giant stone that's like split in half on the top of this hill. And he took a picture of it, and it looks like there's a little tiny figure down at the bottom of the base of the boulder that looks like it's whacking it with a staff. I mean, it's just some wild photos. And if I can find this, I'll definitely send it over to you.
Watchers, can you see the screen? Do you have a watch page open? Is this what you're talking about? This is let's see.
I mean, the guy that was doing the documentary, he was Korean, or the guy that they were interviewing was Korean.
All right, give me a second. Let's see what I can find.
And he was also saying, like they talk about the parting of the Red Sea, and I can't remember the sea on the other side of the Sinai Peninsula. But on the Red Sea, one of the things that
isn't it called the Reed Sea?
I can't remember.
The Sea of Reeds. I've read that before. That what some confused if this Red Sea was the Reed Sea.
Well, and like in the weird stuff, and part of the reason why, in my belief, the reason why science doesn't believe the basically the biblical story is because there's nowhere on the Red Sea that would be shallow enough for.
But the Reed Sea would, because it was a sea of reeds, and it would in that area.
Exactly, and there's a specific area of it where you can walk across the entire Reed Sea, and it'll only be like 8 feet deep at its deepest, for like 3 miles across from the Sinai Peninsula to the actual to the coast of Saudi Arabia, and then on this same pathway was where he came across the area where it looked like sandal imprints into the stone, and then where the stone was split, and then the final destination point was what he was believing was the actual Mount Sinai, as opposed to the Mount Sinai on the Sinai Peninsula.
Well, that whole peninsula that Saudi Arabia sits on itself, the whole huge piece. I mean, you've got other countries, Oman, Yemen, Kuwait, Iraq there to the north. But I mean, Saudi Arabia encompasses the whole midsection of that whole thing. I also think that's why they're always trying to start crap down there in Yemen and bombing the crap out of them, obviously. Just trying to take over that territory. Because I can only imagine if Saudi Arabia has ancient stuff, these phony borderlines that we're seeing right now, they're not stopping anything ancient. They could also be in Yemen and in other places.
So, well, I just remember looking at those the satellite photography of the western coastline of Saudi Arabia. It reminded me of the imagery of that movie Noah, when they're talking about Noah's grandfather helping out the fallen angels because they were basically being killed off by the humans at the time in that story, in that movie. And the way that the ground looked in that movie, and then seeing the stuff from the air, I'm like, I'm wondering if they got the vision or the idea of the way that they wanted the cinematography to look in that movie from the western coastline of Saudi Arabia. It triggered something in me, and I'm like, it was too similar. It was too similar for me to not be triggered by it.
Is that what you're talking about?
Well, if you can, in fact, pull up actual Google Maps and go to satellite view.
Is that an actual image?
Yeah.
That looks beautiful.
Yeah.
Where is that? I'm sorry, I kind of missed half the conversation on what you guys just had.
It's the west coast of Saudi Arabia.
It is very nice looking.
There's other weird, if you're looking at it from the satellite images, it's got it's just weird. It's kind of weird there on how it's laid out.
Don't tell me you just typed in Saudi Arabia and it took you to Philadelphia.
No,
you got the whole desert. You got the whole desert, and then all of a sudden you hit this dark patch that looks to be, I don't know, I guess kind of like what.
I mean, the only thing I can, all
really
of that
dark and like maybe,
See how it's
all of that dark area is all what I would think of as being old lava flows. But if you zoom in on some of those like really, really dark patches, Yeah, like that area right there. I mean, that's what an old volcano lava field looks like. I mean, you can even see the calderas in there. But then if you zoom into where like the sand is starting to overflow that area, you could see like the rock just jutting out of the sand, and it's just, I mean, it looks like lakes, but those aren't lakes. Those are fields of old ancient lava, like almost like scorched. It's scorched earth at that point. I mean, I've always been drawn to that since I saw that documentary and started searching around that portion of Saudi Arabia. I'm like, this is just...
Mike, let's go to X. That has that little thing come up on the left-hand side. Yes.
Alrighty then. Go away. Yeah, there's spots like that out west here in the U.S. too. The old lava fields.
Yeah, it's just it was an interesting land formations that were just it was just drawn. Just drew me to it. I don't know why it seems like one of those areas. It's probably that forbidden luster that you're not allowed to go and see it. Therefore, it makes you want to investigate it more.
All right. Well, I mean, we're just over 2 hours right now, so maybe we should call it a night. I think we covered a lot of ground tonight, and I really appreciate you guys hanging out. Saving humanity, Rucker, Amy, always a hope. Alexander, Calvin, what's up, buddy? Genia, everybody hung out tonight. I saw Danny in there earlier. Appreciate you guys hanging out with us tonight. Whom it may, everybody that was out on the panel, watchers, Chico, Eric, Dabu. Appreciate you guys hanging out tonight. And, yeah, man. You guys got anything going on in the next couple of days you want to let anybody know about, or? No.
Underground World News Friday nights.
Yeah, man.
That's all I got going on.
Yeah, right on. Right on, B. He's on. He's doing Saturday nights, after hours. Whom it may on Thursdays, and me and Eric are kind of like guerrilla live streamers at this point. We're going live with either Grand Theft Auto at 2 a.m. or live police chases from California at 7 p.m. Whatever.
You never know when we'll go live.
Whatever happens. So, all right, guys. Well, thank you so much again for hanging out. We really appreciate it. You guys be safe. Have a great night.
Thank you, everybody.
Much love, y'all.